Hello, everybody. This is a little bit different of an episode from what we usually do, but I just had a YouTube live debate about drug policy. I saw someone offering to have debates about something, and he was a Trump supporter, so I figured he'd be pretty anti-drug. So I called in, and we had like a 10-minute debate about it, and I just wanted to play the recording here on my channel. You can't see me throughout it. I was just on the phone with him. Audio's a little spotty, but I figured I'd still go ahead and publish it on my YouTube channel. Um, he was definitely not the best person to have that debate with, and that, I mean, there's a billion topics I wouldn't be good at debating, so you can't really hold anything against him. He just wasn't quite, it wasn't the right setting, wasn't the right time to have a debate like that. It was more just kind of a fun conversation. But again, I still just wanted to post it on my channel, and I got his permission to record it and do so. And I'm going to put his name in the description of the video. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think and enjoy.
Thank you for calling. Who is this and what's your question?
Hi, I was the guy in your comments, the MP Sanders podcast talking about drug legalization.
Oh, MP. What's up, buddy?
Um, I was trying to figure out if you'd be willing to have a discussion about drug legalization or not. I don't know if that's necessarily in your field of what you
Sure.
talk about,
Well,
but
when you're a Christian, you have to have that on your field.
okay.
So, what kind of drugs are you thinking about?
There should be, like, all drugs should be available to adults via a regulated market.
Sure.
We should not be forcing drug production and distribution into the world of clandestine chemistry. Americans spend $150 billion a year on illicit substances, and we
Yeah.
should not be letting all that money go to cartels.
Yep.
It should be going to regulated American businesses that have to follow quality control standards, have to have labeled dosages and labeled concentrations,
Yep.
etc.
Well, in history, what I have noticed is that I'm glad that you're not the government. I'm glad
Okay.
that you're an American citizen that has the opinion. But what I have seen is that, just with not even drugs, but when the government jumps in and they bring up some type of affirmation of, like, for example, I used to be a smoker, big time smoker. They said that in order for us to stop smoking, what they were going to do was a great thing. And that was to raise the price 100%. And that didn't stop anybody from smoking. And the government made the money. And the problem with the government making the money is that they waste the money. And the people like you and me, we don't see it. They,
Hold on. Let
yeah,
me stop you real quick.
go ahead.
I'm not talking about the government offering these drugs. I'm talking about private entities like Jameson offering
Oh,
alcohol
I see.
or
Okay. Okay.
Jack
Sure.
Daniels offering alcohol, not the government.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Then I think it'd be okay. Now we still have to be careful though because they legalize marijuana at least here in Washington. I mean, you're supposed to buy it with a prescription, but yeah, they still allow people to do as recreational marijuana. If you ever come down to Seattle, Washington, you can bust out a joint out there in the middle of the public park, and everybody's getting high with you because everybody's smelling the smoke of marijuana. Okay, so
Okay, I'm not an
that's
advocate for public drug use
yeah,
at
me
all.
neither.
It's
And
just
I and that's I 100%. Thank you for saying that because I think that you can do whatever the hell you want, but just do it in your house. I mean, like my smoking cigarettes, I always ask people, "Does it bother you if I smoke?" No. Oh, okay, then I'm gonna smoke. I've always had that, around people, and I never and I tell people if something bothers me, I let them know. But private entities, what you have to be careful with is, the smoke shops. They sell vapes and all that stuff, right?
yes.
Okay, so that's a private entity that has a license to practice, and they sell marijuana, and they, of course, they have their guidance and all these other stuff that they have in there by the government. Of course, they have to have the rules, right? Follow the rules. But they have found that I don't know if you heard about this one, but there was a lot of really bad uh, vapes out there that were coming from China that were really bad for your health. And a lot of businesses were having to empty the shelves because they didn't know, or maybe they did know, and they were selling it because they were making a lot of money on it. So, my question to you is this: how do we regulate um, a private entity from not abusing the right to legalize certain drugs and kind of keep track of them per se. Like who do we reach out if not the government?
Oh, well, the government should oversee regulations, but the issue with the Chinese vape stuff was not quite that it was a nicotine problem. It
Uh
was
huh.
more the
Yeah, that's the
vehicle
one.
in which the nicotine was being transported was unregulated. In most of those cases,
That's the
contained
one.
vitamin E acetate, which is now an illegal substance because of what happened.
Yeah.
But you're asking how we regulate this. We regulate it the same exact way we do alcohol. During alcohol
Okay.
prohibition, tens of thousands of people were blinded due to poorly made alcohol because there was no regulatory
I
oversight.
see.
That problem went away overnight whenever we legalized alcohol again. And
Okay.
the government has to enforce quality control standards, third party analysis, and distribution standards like they do with alcohol. You go by Jameson, you know exactly how much alcohol is in the bottle. And earlier you said you're cool with people doing whatever they want to do, which is great. But when you look at the quality of street drugs right now, like heroin, there is not a clean heroin supply for people to use. It all contains fentanyl or nitazines, which
Yeah.
are dozens of times more potent, have lower lethal dosages, etc.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with people doing what they want to do, you should give people the right to do what they want to do safely. Like we let people drive cars and ride motorcycles, but there's regulations on the motorcycles. They have to have blinkers, brake lights, you have to pass tests, you have to have a license.
Yeah.
None of these sort of regulations are taking place right now with the drug market or drug use.
Yeah.
And we're wondering why so many people are dying. It's because there's no regulatory oversight and no one knows what they're taking.
Yeah. My I think my concern would be with even with alcohol. So I get a lot of Christians on my show, right, that come in here, and the moment that I say that, it's okay for people to drink alcohol, they start crucifying me for it. But I mean, it's in the Bible, I'm speaking religiously, right? In the Bible, it says that you are not to be given into alcohol, meaning that you're not to be drunk, right? Because drunkards don't go into the kingdom of heaven. But it's
Well,
okay for you to have control, right?
the
And
verse is you should avoid drunkenness, right?
correct.
Okay, that's not alcohol. Drunkenness is a totally
Well,
different thing. When
well,
the Bible was written, there was no concept of alcohol,
sure,
and that was
sure.
like a classification of intoxication by alcohol.
It
That
has
was not a
evolved.
thing when the Bible was written.
Yeah, it has
Drunkenness
evolved.
is more separation from God, not drunkenness like we think of it today.
Yeah, well, they, in the desert they drink more wine than they do water. That's
Sure.
why they will get drunk. So, I'm trying to make that example because of your drugs. My biggest concern with with anything, of course, right? We know too much alcohol can cause alcoholism, and that is a very bad disease. Marijuana, for example, which is one of the drugs that most people will say it's okay to do. I hate the smell of it; it makes me nauseous, but that's just me. My biggest concern is even if we do legalize and control, okay, hey, you know what, Dan, you can get this. Hey, Dave, you can get this. um, just like people are so irresponsible when they drink, when they go to the bars, when they go to clubs, they're out there driving drunk. And now that you see people driving with clouds of smoke, marijuana. And then, so how hard of a drug do you want to give people, and how much are we going to trust that they will be safe with it? Because once you're under the influence, you pretty much lose control of yourself.
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean,
but
you know what I
hold
mean?
on a second. Let's not pretend that we don't deal with people on methamphetamine and heroin driving already.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
we were to legalize heroin, it's not like we would go from a place where no one's driving on it to people driving on it. Nothing would really change in that regard. Because, like,
sure.
let me ask you this: if heroin was legal tomorrow, would you suddenly be so bored with using it and driving on it? Or do you think that the population who aren't using heroin now are probably not going to use it regardless of the legal status of the drug? Most of the people who don't use methamphetamine don't not use it because it's illegal. They don't use it because they don't want to use it.
Yeah,
So
if it
legalizing it isn't, it's not going to magically make everyone driving on heroin all of a sudden. That's part of the
right,
problem now.
right. But if you drive under the influence, you're still gonna get in trouble. Um,
Yes, that
and
should be a
so
crime regardless.
yeah, so the whole thing would be any type of drug that can lead to death, right? I would be very. I don't know if
Well,
if I
what
can agree with that.
that doesn't mean anything. Water can kill you. Oxygen can kill you.
That's true.
Like
Yeah, I know what you mean. But you know, with heroin, for example, right? That's a very strong drug, man, that anybody can just overdose on, no matter how clean it is. I believe that it's
And
just the
it's
fact
a
that it's
whole lot easier to overdose on it when you don't know what you're taking. If
yeah,
you don't know the dose you're taking, then it's way easier to die than if you do.
yeah.
So we should have a system that lets people know how much they're taking so we can make it safer to take it.
Now, I have just one question for you.
Sure.
So, why would we need to use drugs like that?
We don't need to use drugs. We also don't need to ride motorcycles or drive fast cars. It's a personal life
I
preference. It's a
agree with
pursuit
the
of
fast
happiness.
cars. I agree with the
This
fast cars.
this country was founded on the idea that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness were inalienable rights. In what world is drug use not pursuit of happiness?
Yeah, I think that on one side of me, I can say, you know, the part that lives in the world, I would say I wouldn't have a problem with people do what they do in private. As a religious man, I have to be against it. You know, because I have my limits of what you can put your body into. I don't know about those kind of drugs. I don't know the full effects. Obviously, there is medicine that we take today that if it's not regulated by doctors, I mean, we can overdose. We've seen this. Uh, I don't want to say stupid, but yeah, these stupid women that are pregnant out there just because they didn't like what you know, Robert Kennedy said about the Tylenol thing. They went over there and overdosed themselves on Tylenol while they're being pregnant, and that's the kind
Okay,
of
yeah,
mentality that you have, you know, with people when you
all that's
legalize stuff.
yeah. I mean that's fair enough. But if you don't want to use heroin, don't use heroin. Don't advocate for a system that gives us the largest prison population on the planet and has a direct result of killing tens of thousands of people every year.
Well, that
If
sounds
you
like
don't want
that
to do
sounds
it,
like the cartel right there. The cartel says
yeah.
that if
The
there
only
was no
reason the
drug
cartel
users,
exists because of our drug policy. So if you're worried about them, change the policy that created them. Stop giving them $150 billion every year and pump that back into tax revenue in American businesses, not
woo,
cartels.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I think there can be something done about it. Why not? Yeah, I wouldn't
Bingo.
support it, but I wouldn't be hating people for that either. That's to each his own, my friend. Thank you for your question, brother, for
Yeah,
your
you have
comment.
a
I
good one.
think it's
Take
very
it
good.
easy, man.
Good job,
Yes, sir.
man. That was a interesting subject, and you know, and we're not always going to agree on everything. I think